Okay, good morning, friends. Shalom Aleichem. Agit Avach. We're continuing in Mishna, Daf Hashavua. We're learning Siman Kuf Lamed Beis. Siman Kuf Lamed Beis. And we're in the middle of the Ramah. We're also in the middle of Maimer HaKadishim. So we're sort of going back and forth between Mechaber Mishna and Maimer HaKadishim. So we saw so far in Sif Beis, the Mechaber said it is Asr to leave Shul before Kedusha de Sidra, which means it's not a minhag to stay in Shul, it's an obligation. If you leave early, it's Asr. It is prohibited to leave early. That sounds like you could leave after Uval Etzion. The Rama added that you say Aleinu, and you should be careful to say Bekavana. And when you get to Kel lo Yoshia, you should be mafsik a little bit. Kel lo Yoshia, pause, va'anachnu korim. And then you say Kaddish Yasaim after Aleinu. The Mishnah explained, you always have to say Kaddish after Psukim. Aleinu has Psukim, it has Kaddish. The minhag is that we leave it for a Yasam Shemes Aviv V'imai, because there are Yisayimim Ketanim or even Gedolim that they can't daven for the Amud and say Kaddish and Baruch Hu after their father and mother. But as the Mishnah said, davening for the Amud is far preferable than saying Kaddish. Therefore, Chacham or Masakin, this Kaddish goes to the Yisayimim. Okay. And even someone who has a father or mother, Ramasa, could say this Kaddish if their parents are not makbid. Says the Mishabura, Sivkatin Yadav, Yachala Amrai Im Ein, Chalura Tzalamer, Davka Kshu Mashar Shal Yakpidu Azad. You have to be able to be Mashayar that they're not makbid. Umistarba the Chozehul Inyan Kaddish Yasam, Mnesha Kaddish Miyuchad Li Yasamim. Presumably this is for Kaddish Yasam. Av Lespal Fnei Amid Oy Lifra Sashma in Lachash Klal Shema Yakpidu Azad. To daven for the Amud, a person doesn't have to be concerned, the parent would mind if the son davens for the Amud because maybe it looks like the parent is not alive. We don't have to worry about that. The Kaddish at the end of the Tefillah, Shever Levi says, if all the Mispalim have a father and mother, you should still say Kaddish Rabbanan. Likewise, Rosh Zalman says Kaddish after Aleinu, someone who has a father and mother should not say it. Kaddish D'Rabbanan, that was Niskan Achar Liman HaTorah, then anyone could say it, even Mi Sheyesh Loi Avaim. So the Hakpada is only on Kaddish Yasaim, not on Kaddish D'Rabbanan. Okay, let's move on. V'yesh loymar Pitum HaKetores Erev V'avoiker Achar HaTfilah. You should say Pitum HaKetores evening and morning after the tefillah. Here is another example where evening means mincha. Many times, this is right, we've had this before and we'll have it again. When the Ramah says the word erev, he does not mean erev. He does not mean marev. He means mincha. So the Ramah's opinion is you should say Pitum HaKetores, mincha and morning after tefillah. V'oimrim tchila ein kelokeinu. Says the Mishnah Berura, V'yesh loymar, Mivnei HaKetores v'maktirim pamayim b'chol yom, k'mo shekasav b'Torah. Erev, hainu achar tfilas mincha oy kaidem la. After mincha, or before. Even though the Ramah didn't say or before. The Ramah said after. The Mishnah Berura says or before. The HaKetores lo hiya maktirin b'layla. They were not maktir the HaKetores at night. I guess the way the Mishnah Berura is reading it, here's a chiddush. Erev is either before or after, meaning by mincha, before or after. Boiker is after. Says the Mishnah Berura, Boiker achar tefillah v'tzarchin lama anu oimrim oisa b'shas yom tov achar musaf. Why do we say it on Shabbos and Yom Tov after Musaf? HaKetores kodemes l'Musaf and l'Kuli Yom v'yishach l'Karban Tamid. What in the world are we doing saying Pitum HaKetores after Musaf on Shabbos? It doesn't belong then. It should go before Musaf. They were makdir the Ketores before the Musaf. Why in the world would we say the Ketores after the Musaf? This is the kasha of the Magen Avram. The Efshar, the Kavanah li pater midoich Devrei Torah. Could be our Kavanah is to take leave of the shul from Devrei Torah. Uveksavim Isa, in the Ari we find Shatam lahav riach haklipos. We want to chase away the shells. And as you know, the shells run from Pitum HaKetores. That just gets them going. Uveshla kasav la'amroi koidem tefila ve'achareha. So the question is, but Nusach Ashkenaz does not say Pitum HaKetores after the tefillah. At least in most Sidurei Nusach Ashkenaz, Pitum HaKetores does not appear after the tefillah. In the Sidur, that doesn't mean it's Nusach Ashkenaz. There's Nusach Hagra. Yeah, it's not Nusach Ashkenaz. But we're going to see, the Ramah says, we'll see more tomorrow, some say you should be careful to say Pitum HaKetores from a written text, not Baal Peh, Mishum Shamir b'makom HaKetores. Saying it is in lieu of bring it. And we're afraid you might skip one of the ingredients. V'amrinon, and it is said, Shu chayiv misam chisar achas mi achas misamaneha, misamimaneha. Chazal say one is chayiv misa if you leave out an ingredient. Therefore, the minhag is we don't say it during the week. Shemimarin lemelachtan, because we quickly go to work. V'chashinon shamidaleg, we're afraid we might skip. Who says this? The Beis Yosef, in the name of Rabbi Yisrael Isserlin and the Orchos Chaim. So that seems to be Minhag Ashkenaz. Maybe the Gemara disagreed with that. Again, the Ramah does bring down both opinions. Actually, the Ramah brings down almost the Ikar opinion is yes to say it. He says V'oimrim. No, I'm sorry. V'yesh loymar. I skipped something in the Ramah. The Ramah said, we'll see that more tomorrow. Okay, where are we holding? Let's jump back into the Maimer HaKadeshim. We are up to the page 28, the second line. Ben Shiva Katan Shahilech Kol Shiva Lebeis HaKnesses. Someone who's a Ben Shiva, he's within Shiva, and they're a minor, and we've said that a minor doesn't sit Shiva in the house, goes to shul. He gets Yesh Loi Kol HaKadishim Tmidim Afilu Neged Ben Shloishim. He gets all the Kadeshim, even against someone who's in Shloishim. Rak the yard side, yesh loi kaddish echad. The yard side gets one kaddish. But again, legabe the amud, it seems like, at least according to the Bir Halacha, the Ben Shiva would take precedence over the yard side. V'im yesh harbe yard side neged kol hakadesh nidcha Ben Shiva katan legamri. Then the yard sides each take one kaddish, and the Ben Shiva gets pushed away completely. Im nezbatel mimenu avelus shel Shiva machmas haregal. If, let's say, the Avelus was pushed away, for 7 days from the Kfura, even though one is not the Avelus, but one says Kaddish. I think we did this. Shloishim is only pushed away legabe Avelus, not legabe Kaddish. Nevertheless, you only have the din of a Ben Shiva of a Katan, since he's going to the shul. which means, what does that mean? He has a din of a ben shiva of a katan. Namely, he will not push away a yard site completely. A yard site will take a kaddish. V'chein emes aviv baregal. If somebody's parent died on Yom Tov, yesh lo din ben shiva katan le'inyan kaddish baregal. It's a din of a ben shiva of a katan. He will say kaddish on Yom Tov. The achar regal af shenoi gavelos mikomakam ein lo din shiva le'inyan kaddish. After the regal, even though he's noye gavelos, he doesn't have the priority of a ben shiva legabe kaddish to push off others. And so what is his status? How do we look at him? Rak shemoinin shiva yomim miyom hakvura. He counts 7 days from the kvura. V'achar kach ein lo rak din ben shloishim. And after that, he only has a din of ben shloishim. Even though this is amazing, the person is sitting shiva after the regal. He does not have a din shiva legabe kaddish. His din shiva legabe kaddish starts immediately from the misa, but the avelos begins after the regel, and even during the avelos, his kaddish does not have a din of kaddish of shiva. He already did that. But it does have a din of kaddish of shloishim. Now, shaila, mi sheyesh lo zechus yoysel in kaddish. Who has more of a zechus? Kagain ben shiva u ben shloishim v'yartzeit. Oh, now this is not a question, it's a statement. Someone who has a more of a zechus legabe kaddish, for example, a ben shiva, a ben shloishim, in a yard site, yesh lo zechus le'inyan atfila lezkapalel gam ken lefnei ha'amod. Whoever has a zechus of the kaddish has a zechus of davening for the amod. So how do you divide the tefillah between a ben shloishim and a yard site? You have one guy who's within shloishim, and one guy has the alcohol. Who gets to daven for the amud? Says the Gesher Achayim, the ben shloishim davens until Ashrei, and the yard site takes over at Ashrei. Rav Moshe also says that. So the ikar is the ben shloishim takes precedence over the yard site. Meaning that if somebody's within shloishim, they daven the whole tefillah until Ashrei, and the guy who spent $8,000 on gourmet rugelach at a store that I can't mention, he's the closer. He gets to pitch the 9th inning. He's going to throw, he's going to have a cow, and you'll never hear the end of it. So tell him the ikar hakol hoylech achar hachasam. He's like the Yankees relief pitcher, lahavdil. Tell him he's the ikar, but he's not. The ikar is the ben shloishim. Okay? The ikar is the ben shloishim. He pushes away the yard site. You'll never be able to pull this off. I never said you'll be able to pull this off. I'm just here to tell you the right thing to do. I'm just here to tell you the halacha. The fact that the guy might, I don't even want to say what he might do. That's not relevant. We're learning what we're learning what Hashem wants. We're not learning what the guy is going to do to you in the Beis HaKnesses. That's a different set of rules. That's what we call the 5th Shulchan Aruch. You don't have to be Moisar Nefesh Al Kiddush Hashem to daven. It's not one of the 3 cardinal sins. In other words, the halacha is the ben shloishim davens, but he's not chayiv limsar nafshay. Okay? It's not one of the 3. Even though we learned in Chafetz Chaim that you might have to give up your life not to violate chanifos, this is not chanifos. This is just regular safeguarding your life. You could show him, you're going to show, it says in the Dirshu, he doesn't care. He says he's going to show you the receipt of the cookies he bought. That's what he's going to show you. So, okay, Rabbi say, we'll hold it over here. Shkayach.
Recording stop.